Hello everyone and welcome to Faithful to the Traitors, where we are here to discuss the grand final of the Celebrity Traitors UK Series 1. And, don't speak, what an episode that was. Very unexpected.
Unexpected? I was expecting it to be amazing.
No, but like
final,
the result, I mean, and how it all played out. You never know what's going to happen.
The twists and turns in this celebrity version has been just outstanding. Like throughout it, it keeps playing in my mind all the time, the fact that there's not been one recruitment because the Traitors have played such a good game to the very end. And like it's just been amazing. The players, the final five for me was the perfect final five as well. I think that interchanging one for another player, I don't think would make it any better. I think the five people that were left in the final were perfect. Even David grew at me in the end, even though his kind of very calm, quiet way, I didn't kind of like it very much. But then when we had the final roundtable and everyone, it was really sweet actually. Everyone just kind of just gently told each other what they thought of each other in the realms of the game, and it was just perfectly done. And it really did change opinion. It changed people's perspectives of how they looked at other people, and it really did react to what happened to the final in the end and the ultimate winner.
Someone played the game too much. They played one too many cards and ruined it all for themselves. Joe, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, poor Joe. I mean, he
thought he was cleverer than he was.
Nick felt betrayed by Joe, didn't he? I think in the game. But of course, before we start anything, my name is Alex.
And my name is Ben.
And if you want to get in touch with us, you can by finding our link tree, linktr.ee/faithful2. And on there, it's got all the links to our social media, but also how you can watch us on YouTube, listen or watch us on Spotify, or listen to us on any of your favorite podcast apps. Don't forget to comment on any of those. Give us 5 stars, subscribe, follow us, give us a thumbs up. All the good stuff. Tell your friends about us.
It's the final, everyone. So we need lots of thumbs ups.
We need lots of thumbs ups, and we need lots of your thoughts about what you thought of the final as well. And of course, if you like the podcast and you want to help us monetarily, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/faithful or coff.ee/faithful, and on there you can give us £5, which helps toward the show. Just like
Diego.
Good start.
They have said, I recently moved continents for work. And to celebrate my first salary, I wanted to thank you and producer Charlie for all the amazing work you do. P.S. I don't ride a bike to work yet. Oh. Not yet.
But did you, Diego, ride a bike to your new continent?
Who knows? But
congratulations
and I hope your new job goes well.
Yes, absolutely. Wow.
New continent.
Very professional. It's taken you 9 episodes to get to this level of professionalism.
Call me Ed Gamble.
AI Ed Gamble. Come join me later and you can see who won the Traitors.
I know.
BBC
when the Traitors ended, he did the trail into the next thing. It's just like, what's happening here?
AI Ed Gamble.
Does he care? Nobody knows. Who am I to slag off Ed
However,
Gamble?
we did have a comment because we've been kind of winding the whole AI Ed Gamble narrative through, and someone did comment and say that although they don't like Ed Gamble on the podcast that he does for Taskmaster and other projects he has done, he's much better, which will kind of strengthens our original argument, which is that Ed Gamble doesn't care about the Traitors. This is just a paycheck to him, but everything else he's more interested in doing. But there you go. Hi Ed Gamble, we hope you are well.
I wanted to read a quick message out on YouTube from Green Marie. She says, I'm not sure if you guys will ever read this out, but I have to share. And because you said that, I'm going to read it out. That's how I work.
That's what he works on.
I stumbled to your podcast reactions from TikTok, and I truly enjoy you both. I'm from the US, and I love the Traitors, but TBH, the Traitors UK, is my favourite. I'm totally obsessed with Claudia. You are so lucky, because if I went to the UK, I would love to try to meet her. She's iconic.
Claudia Winkleman is, I mean, if you live in America, you don't know how loved Claudia Winkleman is in the UK.
Apart from my parents. Don't like her. Not a fan.
Ben's mum and dad's not fans of Claudia Winkleman, but no, Claudia Winkleman.
She took over Strictly.
Well, she hosts our version of Dancing with the Stars in the UK, and she does the Traitors, but she's known for lots of other things as well. She's got a very dry, quick wit, and she's very, very welcome kind of in
Didn't
the UK.
She host like the Sewing Bee once for one series? She hosted something for one series.
She hosted the first 2 series of the Sewing Bee in the UK. But she's there was a game show, a reality game show on BBC 2 years ago, Claudia Winkleman hosted, called, I believe, Three's a Crowd. And it was basically 3 people lived in different rooms, and they went on dates together, and then they had to then vote out who they wanted to get rid of, and then someone new came in until the very end, when it was a bit like Love Island, but there's 3 people every
Love
episode.
Island mix of uni flat sharing, by the sounds of it.
Basically, you've summed it up.
Right.
And I loved that show. Three's a Crowd, I think it was called.
You can find old interviews of her as well when she's like on This Morning in like the 90s, and she has like a really posh voice and no fringe, and it's like she's using her posh voice before she's being herself now, where she just uses her real voice,
her BBC voice. And she talks, I've seen that interview, and she talks about dating men. It's like, well, first of all, you need to tell the boys to back off. It's like, oh, I love her. Love. So yeah, Claudia Winkleman is... majority of the country love Claudia Winkleman, but Ben's mum and dad do not.
Alan Carr.
Well, they did until this came around. Alan Carr, as he said himself, the most hated man in Britain.
Well, he was doing interviews last week, wasn't he, where he was like, I fled to America to flee the UK. And now we know why, Alan. Because,
we should have read it.
Because you stole the money and you won as the sole traitor.
Oh, but Alan's reaction to it actually put a tear in my eye. It broke my heart the way Alan reacted to it, because he said it's like the burden has been so much, and you could just tell the weight was lifted off his shoulders.
Of him going, let's murder him. I love killing. Let's kill him now.
Yeah, but he was playing a part. To Alan, he was playing the act of the traitor. So being a traitor... One of the things about being a traitor on the Traitors is not only that you have to play the strategic game, but also you have to play the part of a traitor. And there is like a kind of, but as a traitor especially, it's pantomime almost villain, isn't it? It's like you have to be this over the top kind of like, I can't wait to get to the tower so I can murder someone tonight. You know, in real life you would never say that. No. But in the confines of this show, you become this over the top, reactionary, villainous type of very camp, so it probably works with Alan even more, very camp type of character. No, Alan, I don't think Alan would be offended for me to say that.
I'm joking. But I do think actually that he actually was okay with it until the fire pit. I think it was the fire pit moment where he had to look at poor Nick. I mean, he just looks sweet and innocent anyway. When he has a little soft flame near him, with a little smile, and he's looking up at you, he's like, I think we're all faithful. And I think that was the moment where Alan thought, oh, it made me... Every final of the Traitors, I say this every series, it makes me feel sick. This one, even though it was celebrity and it was for charity, it doesn't really have the same meaning behind it. I still sat there feeling sick when Alan had to wait until he said, and Alan, what are you? I'm a traitor. I was like, oh, it just makes you feel sick watching it. But I think that was the moment where Alan got upset, is when he had to look at those two who like trusted him.
Their puppy dog eyes.
And Nick had gone against Joe and got rid of Joe. And it's like, I think that was the moment where Alan was probably felt where he was a bit upset and emotional, where it all tumbled down.
Well, let's start from the beginning then. So right at the very top of the show, after the breakfast, Joe and Nick had a discussion with one another, and they came up with the game plan. And their game plan was either one of two ways. They were going to go for David, assuming that Kat and Alan were going the same direction, or they were going to talk David into convincing him to go for Kat, and then there'd be them three all voting for Kat. That's how it was left between Joe and Nick. Unfortunately, and was ultimately Joe's unraveling, Joe then made a pact with Kat and Alan that came out at the Roundtable later, that Joe was going to vote for David,
along with Kat and Alan.
That made Nick feel like he'd been betrayed by Joe,
that was
and
the moment,
considered it as traitorous behaviour.
Yeah, that was the moment that kind of ruined... Because when we were going into this episode, we were kind of under the impression that it was like a Kat and Alan versus Nick and Joe, and nothing would break those two, and David was going to be the deciding vote. That's what we thought. Not the case, because Joe... I don't know what Joe was doing, because Joe also thought Kat and Alan were traitors, so he was trying to get close to them in private and said, oh, I'm going to go with David. Nick and Joe were close, and it's like, well, why did Joe do this? Why did he did that one play too many where... Yeah. Because then Alan at the fire pit was able to say, oh, I'm going to vote Joe, actually, because he did this. And that's what made Nick think, oh, Joe's been talking to me making a pact. Joe's been talking to them making a pact. Maybe he is a traitor.
For me, I think that Nick overreacted a little bit because the conversation had been
When you
made.
sit there with a fire burning in your face.
No, but before the
Looking at
burning,
Alan
before
Carr.
the fire and the s'mores and the marshmallows baking on the campfire, Joe and Nick did make, as I said, they made that conversation that assuming that Kat and Alan were going to go for David, they would go for David too. They would get the feel of the ground. And that's what Joe did essentially. After the game had taken place, Joe and Nick had a quick chat and Joe said, right, I'll go and talk to Kat and Alan, you go talk to David. I just don't think they were then able to get together after that conversation because that's when Nick felt backstabbed. But really, Nick and Joe had that conversation at the top of the day that they were going to go for David. So because Joe then, I think Joe actually innocently said at the round table when he voted for Kat and he said, I'm sorry, I'm going to betray you and Alan now. I think he did that as a way of saying to Nick, I got into their circle and this is their plan and now this is what I plan to do and now you can really trust me. But unfortunately,
it didn't relay the same.
Well, Nick didn't see it that way. Nick saw it as in a betrayal against him. But I think Nick needed to remember they did have that conversation that they were planning to go for David if they thought that the groundwork was not good enough to go for Kat at the round table.
But Kat went though.
But because the groundwork was there, because David was going to go for Kat, Nick was going to go for Kat, and I think if Joe hadn't said anything about his conversation with Alan and Kat, and he just said, I'm voting for Kat, and not said a word, he might have gone away with it. But then unfortunately, Alan he got that big salt and rubbed it right into the wound even further, because then when they got to the fire pit and they were deciding whether to banish or to stop the game, Alan came up with this huge great big spew about how he feels there's an unfinished business and he needs to get his revenge now, and that his vote for
Joe was backstabbing.
Joe backstabbed
talking to
him.
everyone,
and that consolidated Nick's opinion of what he was kind of thinking Joe might be up to.
Nick thought, I've been played all along. He probably had that feeling of, I'm a faithful wife, I've been kept to the end, I've been friends with Joe, and he's kept me. Because that's what Nick's game was the whole time. He said, I'm going to be close to Kat and Lucy so I don't get murdered. He must have thought, wait a minute, it wasn't Lucy, it was Kat and Joe were the traitors and I've been played. So, yeah, I mean, we did think the deciding factors would come down to David, but in the end, really, it was down to Nick and his untrust of Joe.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Because I thought they were the two strongest, Nick and Joe, but it turns out they were the ones that ended up making a traitor win.
But I think you're right. When you say Joe kind of over-egged the mixture a little bit and went too far with Nick. I think if he just kind of backed down a little bit and just kind of supported Nick, but not... Maybe Nick felt like Joe was taking control again, because that was something that was brought up at the round table by Alan and by David, which was that Joe tends to has a tendency to just push a narrative into the group, and maybe Nick felt like that was happening with him with Joe. So instead of Nick seeing them as equals, he thought that maybe Joe saw himself as maybe slightly bit more superior over Nick, and that his agenda was now getting pushed onto Nick. Again, causing Nick to not dislike Joe, but question Joe's intentions. So Joe, unfortunately, like you say, he went a bit too far.
Yeah.
And it was unraveling.
Don't take on Alan Carr.
And they try to take on Alan Carr. But did you think...
talk his way out of anything.
But did you think Kat was going to go out at the round table? Because there was a small part of me that thought that David was going to go at the round table, and then it was going to be a dangerous... I mean,
the editors did their... give him a pay rise. They did well, because no one really... What everyone thought was going to happen, it was going to be an obvious episode. It really wasn't. So well done, editors. But yeah, it's a shame for Kat, but they had to get a traitor, and I guess there was like an underlying theory that one of the traitors must be female, and she was the only female left. So I don't know if that maybe they shouldn't have got rid of Kate. Maybe they should have had Kate and Kat in the final, when they could have got rid of Kate and said she was a traitor.
Kate Garraway would have caused far more confusion than there already was around that fire pit, and I don't think Kate Garraway. I think Kate Garraway should have, when she went, was long enough for Kate Garraway's time
but
on the show.
I think that sealed Kat, unfortunately, because she was the only female left, and there hadn't been a female traitor found. So in the rules, I think that maybe
that's true.
Maybe under the radar a bit, but I think that must have been on their minds. Like, there must be a female traitor, so Kat must have been one of them.
Must have been the last one. So
she was trying to pick the traitor out of the three remaining men.
to save Kate could have been a sacrifice.
That's what I mean.
Because obviously they weren't allowed to say who was traitors, who was faithful in the final part. It's funny for me because when I was like, when we were watching the Roundtable and I was writing down like people's reasons for why they were suggesting other people's names, like there was real strong evidence against Joe and there was quite a strong evidence against David, but there didn't seem to be much against Alan or Kat. Alan slipped under the radar really well. Kat kind of did, but because Nick's kind of stubbornness and almost pig-headedness, that it had to be Kat.
That's
and
what
as you
I
said,
mean.
It had to be a female.
That's what I mean. I think there's that. It wasn't said, but I think there must have been that underlying thing in their minds, like Kat's not actually done anything traitory, but she's the only female left, and there must have been one out because they got Jonathan. And all the rest of the men, there must be a female, so she has to be by default a traitor. So
interesting also that Roundtable, that Alan, Joe, Kat and David's name were all brought up. Nick's not once.
No.
Not at the final Roundtable. Everyone just said Nick is a faithful. There's nothing more to it.
He's the Meryl of his series.
He is the Meryl. What did Nick do? What did Nick do to make everyone believe him so well? Like what game? Like the only game tactic we saw him say out loud was that he was staying close to the traitors to then pull the rug up from underneath them in the final, which is what he almost did. He almost did it if he hadn't voted off Joe. But like that could be seen as quite traitorous thing to say.
No, I just think there's something about him which is just trustworthy. Like just the way he talks, the way he is, and because he was faithful, I guess everything he was saying and doing was faithful behavior naturally because he's a faithful. And I think it's just like a mix of because he's a nice guy, and I think it was just a mix of things that made people think, oh, he's definitely a faithful. He was really into the game, wasn't he? Out of all of them, he was like the super fan, so he knows the stats and stuff. So maybe just some people like that. He was just faithful. You get that in most series. There's some people who just come across as true faithfuls, don't they? And there's no rhyme or reason, and that's what he was.
But he had a slip because don't forget, in about halfway through the series, he said to Joe, I'm going to let you win in the chess challenge. And that was a slight slip, and that caused a few people to start questioning Nick.
Well, it's the same when he found a shield and then gave it to Celia on episode 1.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe stuff like that is like, well, that's just him being a nice person. That's what makes people think, oh, he must be faithful because he's playing this game and being nice and giving it to someone and not thinking about it too much. But there's all sorts of stuff, I guess.
I wonder if reputation outside the show helped some people get further in the show. So maybe Nick's got this reputation. Alan might have this reputation. I'm sure he does actually. Has a reputation that when away from like being on television,
an alcoholic.
He drinks a lot and goes on holiday to America to escape.
Drinks and sweats.
Yeah, but like he's they're seen as very likable people, and maybe that reputation has moved. Well, think about it. Nico went out in the first episode because he had that reputation of being a prankster and a trickster on YouTube, and so people straight away believed that he would be a traitor for that behavior.
Got a bag of his sweets in the cupboard, haven't you?
I don't
we
actually.
Think they are his.
I've got pumpkin, whatever they're called now, Sour Patch Kids.
Well, we didn't have
watermelon.
Nico's shades. We were just assuming it's him because it says by Nico, and it says on the back, I used to do YouTube and now I've moved on. It's like, well, we're just guessing. We're just guessing on that. But I just wonder if their past kind of helped them along in some instances. I mean, probably people like Jonathan Ross, Alan Carr, they host interview chat shows. They're quite good at showing face and pretending they like everyone, aren't they? Because they have to be to interview people. So I guess
showing face.
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like, you have to pretend like this bitchy, horrible celebrity who's doing this behind the scenes is your best friend on the sofa all of a sudden.
But that's what they said also, isn't they? They said that we all have to kind of like show this showbiz lifestyle where we lovey, kissy. Oh, I'll see you. I'll see you at the Ritz tomorrow. The Ritz. God, what am I? 1980s now. But yes, Nico. If Nico wants to sponsor us by way of Shade Sweets, then we're more than happy to accept. Yeah, sorry.
Kat Burns, she's released her album this week.
Yes, good timing, Kat. Well done.
Jonathan Ross did the voiceover on the advert. She was on Strictly with Claudia, so good for Kat Burns.
I mean, look, it's given. I would arguably, it's given Kat Burns and Joe Marler one hell of a leg up in the industry.
Even Alan Carr, people were suddenly being like, Alan Carr's suddenly really popular in America. It's like, what?
Well, this is it. Because it's being shown in America, Canada, Australia and New Zealand at the same time as it's being aired in the UK. Some of these celebrities are now becoming, the boundaries of the UK are now being thrown out. Yes. They're now going outside.
Alan Carr's going to do what Anton Tech never could.
Yes, Break America. Maybe Alan Carr could do a You Bet clone.
Even Graham
for
Norton
NBC.
could he? Remember when he tried to do So Graham Norton in America? Didn't quite work.
Yeah, but that was on a small network. It was on. I've actually read Graham Norton's autobiography, and he talks about that in his book. And it was on the Comedy Central network, and he said he was never quite happy about that. So there you go.
It wasn't quite the same, was it?
Well, it's a small cable channel, and he said he wanted to do it on a small cable channel, but bigger channels, network channels, were asking him, and he refused them at the time, thinking it was the right decision. But yes, hopefully. Anyway, Alan Carr. I'd like to see Alan Carr, Chatty Man, being brought back on NBC, CBS, ABC.
I know, it's stupid. They're stupid that Channel 4 cancelled it. It's just
BBC are bringing it back.
What, Chatty Man? Are they?
They said they confirmed it.
They're bringing Claudia Winkleman's chat show forward as well. So what's happening? It's a lot of chat shows.
And Graham Norton, you can't have enough chat shows. Look at the number of podcasts. Number of celebrity podcasts look at them all.
By the way, everyone, just because the Traitors is over doesn't mean the podcast is over.
No.
We've got Celebrity Race Across the World coming. Traitors Canada. The rest of Big Brother UK.
And The Apprentice Celebrity, which they just revealed who they are, and I've got many an opinion on the cast, so we'll be having lots of fun with that one.
Typical BBC.
So that's why you need to subscribe to the podcast, so you can follow us for all those So shows.
Normally we are pro faithful win on the Traitors. The Celebrity Traitors is a bit different. We've said that the whole time.
It's broken us.
It's a different feel to it. It's because it's for charity. It's not quite as nasty. Like at the end, the traitor Alan won, and he came out, and everyone was just talking and chatting and hugging fireworks. You wouldn't really get that on the civilian one because it's kind of like you've just taken money from me, and I'm quite angry. So normally we're pro faithful. How are you feeling? Traitor win? Do you feel the same? Would you prefer the faithfuls or what?
Well, as you said, because it was a celebrity one, so the groundwork was a bit different. I have to say, I thought it was.
I did a lot of leading the witness there. Sorry.
Thank you. No, I enjoyed that.
I led your answer to agree with me. Carry on.
Right, Epstein. The Alan winning thing is for me fine, because one, Alan got really emotional, and it was like watching him break down and saying like this is like being such a horrible burden to have.
Liar.
You could tell it was genuinely and honest. When Claudia said to him, "You've won, Alan," he went, "Oh, yeah." That I thought that was lovely.
He stole from charity.
But it was a lovely moment, because when Alan did break and cry, Nick and David had every right to be quite angry at Alan because he lied to. Nick did go, "Oh fuck!" Like he was proper surprised by it. But instead of being upset and angry about it, they went running to Alan and they were like, "Alan, it's a game. It's fine. Don't worry about it. That's how you play." And look, think of the charity.
Well, traitor right to the end, because he made the faithfuls feel guilty.
Yes,
he won, stole money from charity, cried, and then made the two faithful run up to him and hug him and say, "It's okay, it's just a game." So
I mean, you say he stole money from charity.
No, I'm joking.
But it's not quite the same as the chase, when they literally do steal money from charity.
They don't have a chaser on here, because they're quite used to taking money from charity, aren't they?
That's my point. That's my point. That's exactly my point.
They'll get a chaser on next series as a traitor.
That is sick, by the way. Does no one else think that on doing a celebrity version of the Traitors, having someone deliberately take money away? The chase. To deliberately have money taken away from a charity, because you are literally taking money away from a charity. Money that
game.
I just think it's a bit gross, don't you? No. But in this instance, at least money is going to a charity. It's just that whoever plays the better game gets to choose which charity it is.
Alan winning as a sole traitor, let's be fair, he had to do 2 murders in plain sight.
Yeah.
He had to do the most as a traitor. He did it all. He was writing all the names down, picking the people to murder. He had to kill Paloma in plain sight. He had to do that stupid toast to Celia. So Jonathan and Kat let him do all the work. So let him win on his own.
Claudia did bring up again at the fire later when she said, "Oh, say it once more to me." And so he said, "Oh, parting is such to be sorry," and then said, "Oh, there's something on your face, Claudia."
Yeah. And then she leaves Strictly Come Dancing. Yeah. So
coincidence?
Alan Carr's now the new host of The Traitors.
I am interested.
Funny that.
Because after the
Claudia is dead.
Claudia is dead, everyone. After the Roundtable and they did the fire pit, it was obvious they were going to go to Banish again, and the votes quite went toward Joe, which surprised a few people. But obviously, because we said that Nick thought that Joe had made a deal with Alan and Kat looked suspicious.
Yeah.
Alan looked quite smug at that point because he thought, I might have won this. I wonder what would have happened if it had been decided on the second round at the fire pit for them to carry on. They all decided to end, so that's why it ended at that point. But what would have
Between
happened?
Alan, Nick and David, you mean?
I wonder if who would have Nick voted for?
Because
Would have
David
Nick gone for-
outright said, I don't think Alan's a traitor, so maybe they would have both went for Nick.
That's what I'm wondering. And so then Nick would have been knocked out of the game and it would have just been David and Alan. I mean, it's obviously then the outcome would have still been the same thing. But I'm just curious to know whether David...
I think all three of them were tired and finished by then because it's like, let's just end the game now. There's three of us. We trust each other. Let's do it.
Well, yeah, you end the game because you trust each other. You shouldn't just end a game, especially in these high stakes, just because you're feeling a bit tired.
I think they would have.
Come
After
on.
the day they
you got
had.
5 more minutes. 5 more minutes work. Come on. I think you can just pull it out of the bag just for 5 more minutes. Come on. Oh, I don't want to win 87,000 pounds. I'm a bit tired now. That's a silly thing. They would carry on if they could. But I just wonder if it would be Nick. I wonder if they had decided to carry on, whether Claudia would have said, because they do sometimes allow them to do this, for them to do a plead. So they have one last plead around the group. And whether Nick could have convinced David, because Nick was convinced it was Kat, but really it was Joe who was convinced it was Alan.
Yeah, and he's gone. So...
But then Nick could have said, like, I was convinced it was Joe after what had happened, and I'm convinced it's Joe because I think Joe worked closely with Alan and Kat.
Well, you're going into realms of fantasy now because they all ended the game, so there is no other more. There's no more questions. Yeah, but they didn't have any more questions.
In my mind, I like to think what could have happened, what could have been, because if they'd gone for Alan, then Nick and David would have won.
Well, yes.
Yeah, obviously, I know, but does your mind not work that way?
No.
Do you not imagine the world if it was a different place?
Because if Nick had those doubts, he would have chosen to carry on. If
Kamala would have won the election...
Wow. What would happen? Deborah Messing would be going insane right now.
Deborah Messing, you gays!
Out of these lot then, celebrities, all the castmates, looking back, who was some of your favourites? Someone who didn't get enough time? Who could have been a traitor?
Someone who I'd like to have seen more of.
Yeah.
Well, as a traitor or just in the show?
Whatever you want. You can use your mind. You can do your imagination now.
I don't want anyone else to be a traitor because I can't imagine anyone else being a good enough traitor. No. I think Jonathan, Kat and Alan did a good enough job that I didn't need anyone else to try. Mm-hmm. I would like to have seen Stephen Fry play a better game. I don't think he played a good game at all.
No. And I think he's all book smart and not street smart.
But also I think going on what you thought about the end game, I think Stephen Fry thought to himself, I'm too tired now. I don't care anymore. Because even at the last round table, his hair looked dishevelled. He looked like he just didn't care anymore. I'd like to have seen Mark gone a bit further. I think Mark was unduly banished from the show too early, all because of his love for the show. He got too passionate. And unfortunately, that was his downfall.
I would have liked to see more Charlotte Church. I know that you're not too fussed, but I feel like out of all of them, she's the one we really didn't see much of. And she's relatively big name, or she used to be. I feel like she could have done more. I feel like we didn't see enough of her, Charlotte Church.
I see. No.
No. Well,
for me, no. I mean, I'd tell you something.
Ruth?
If we could swap one person who was in for longer for Charlotte Church, then I would say I don't care so much that Lucy stayed in for as long as she did.
Yeah, she didn't give as much as we thought she would.
She didn't really give much. Kate Garraway, as much as we liked to take the mick out of her, she was quite entertaining to watch. But Lucy wasn't. And so I did. And Nico's another one. I think Nico should get a second chance. I think Nico should be allowed to do the Traitors series 2. I'd be happy if they were to say that one or two of the celebrities from this series, obviously if you're murdered you can't come back, but the banished ones, unfortunately
poor Tom Daly.
Oh, and Charlotte Church. They can never come back.
And Paloma Faith.
And Joe Wilkinson. Joe Wilkinson's another one. I would love to see what would have happened if Nick, Joe and Joe had become more of a unit. But then I think if Joe Wilkinson had stayed, I think Nick would have... Joe Marler would have... No, Nick would have been left out.
Oh, no.
No, Joe and Joe are already best friends.
And then Joe Wilkinson about Joe and Nick. They're both comedians, so...
No, Joe Wilkinson and Joe Marler were already a team. And it wasn't until Joe Wilkinson went and got murdered that Joe then went wandering off to Nick. Nick was a bit of a lone player up until that point. Nick might have gone together with David, maybe, but I think Nick would have stayed as a lone player. And again, I wonder, it would have been interesting to see if on his own Nick would have got as far as he did. I think it did help that he did have that leg up from Joe Marler.
Would you like to see more Joe Marler? More swimming challenges?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. In what context do you mean would I like to see more of Joe Marler? Because I've seen him on TikTok pumping up a balloon.
Right.
And I don't need to say any more.
Why have I
but
not
if you
seen
know,
that?
you know. You do. You have.
Oh, that.
I sent it to you.
Oh, yeah.
And if you know, you know. So thank you to the person who sent that to me, by the way. Someone went out their way to send that
Nick
to me.
Mohammed, was it?
It might have been. It might have been Joe Marler. If it was. Cheers, Nick.
So, there you go. Alan won. Sole Traitor. First celebrity one.
Yes.
Done well in the ratings.
Pretty
Very
decent.
popular in the UK.
63 market share.
Canada and New Zealand aired the final early. 12 hours early.
But
BBC were very upset.
Yeah, but they did a good job. It didn't leak. It didn't leak at all in the UK.
Well, no.
Unless
They put out a statement to be like, BBC was like, if you think you've seen the final, keep it quiet.
Did they?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. That's hilarious.
It was on Canada's like streaming service. They uploaded it by accident, and New Zealand also uploaded it. But then again, the BBC changed the air date, so it's their own fault. Because it was meant to have aired last week, wasn't it? So
that is true.
BBC's fault for not planning.
I don't think it's the case that it was meant to air, because the last 3 episodes were meant to air Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in the UK, but they moved it to the following week, Thursday. I wonder if New Zealand and Canada thought it was meant to be the following week, Wednesday, because the airing was Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday to that point. So that's
it did get spoiled for a few people, but only if you were searching for it online.
I mean, it's not spoiled. It's the fact that you saw it before everyone else. You've not spoiled a thing because you're just the one who knew before everyone else.
Yeah.
So nothing got spoiled.
No.
You still had the lovely revelation at the end. But you know, if you're listening to this podcast and you've not watched the episode, you've spoiled it in that regard, haven't you?
Yeah.
Spoilers.
What were the ratings? They've come out just now.
11.1.
Yes, 11.1 million.
But it peaked at 12, which is a 63% of the TV watching population of the UK, which is pretty good. Pretty
been
good.
Commissioned for series 2.
Really?
So
God, I would have thought with ratings like that, it would have just been thrown away.
Test Daily's free.
Test Daily is free. Well, if we're talking about people, we have to do a proper podcast like we did last time of who we hope are going to be in it, but that'll be later down the line.
Graham Norton.
If we're going to quickly throw some names out there right now, no, Graham Norton wouldn't do it.
How do you know?
I guarantee Graham Norton wouldn't do it. Graham Norton's a bit. No offense to Alan Carr. RuPaul would definitely not do it. Michelle Visage might do it.
She'd do anything.
I think she might do it. If we're saying that Test Daily needs to do it, then I say that we do the husband and wife team and have Vernon Kay doing it too.
Yeah. Okay.
We need James O'Brien.
Right.
100%.
This is the same list as we did last time, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
But James O'Brien, 100%. There was
Dawn
rumours
French.
for ages. Oh,
Kathy Burke.
yes, Kathy Burke, but I don't think Kathy Burke will enjoy it.
Tough. Oh, Bettany Hughes.
Bettany
Our
Hughes.
historian.
We need Bettany. We need some kind of historian. We had David, and we need Bettany this year or following year. Who else? Who else could we have?
AJ Adudu.
AJ Dudu is doing Celebrity Apprentice.
You can do both.
Will Best.
We all know what he'll be doing, when they go to the hotel and say they're going to murder him. He'll be showering, won't he? Because that's all he does.
What, shower?
Yes, and take his top off.
Constantly getting wet. I wonder if they'll have the BBC favourite at the moment doing the Traitors. What's his name? That Gammon. What's his face?
Edgar Amble.
No, not a Gamble. No, the guy who's done Strictly and now is doing the Celebrity.
Tom Skinner.
Yeah, he'll probably end up going it. For some bizarre reason, the BBC are obsessed with him at the moment.
Yeah,
he's on every single. He'll be doing. I bet you he'll do unless he's already done it. He might have already done it actually. Celebrity MasterChef, and then he's done
that.
He's done the Holy Trinity. Then he'll do I'm a Celebrity, and then he'll do the Traitors.
Yeah, but can they keep their high caliber of guests for series 2? That's the
This is the
question.
problem because they had such a good cast in this series that it's going to be very difficult to them to do that again.
But it's boosted people's careers. Like even like old standing people, it's kind of given them a boost. So it's not got like this don't do this booking tarnish to it, has it? So they could.
Yeah, but as we said at the beginning,
there's no negative press come out from anyone that I've seen.
But a lot of them have done this because they wanted to play the game. I wonder if they could convince Noel Edmonds to do it. I'd love to see Noel Edmonds.
He's in New Zealand. He can do the New Zealand one.
There's such a thing as a flight.
He could host it.
But the New Zealand Traitors, they've already got a new host for New Zealand Traitors, and I'm very hopeful and excited about that. Did you not find? Sorry, quickly to talk about we haven't talked about the task, which is when they had to get off the train before it exploded. Didn't you not think it had Australian Traitors jewelry heist vibes?
Similar explosions. They blew up a train, didn't they?
Well, I kind of wanted Claudia Winkleman to put sunglasses on just before the explosion happened. And I just love the way they were all giggling and laughing as they were running away. It was obviously meant to be this like very serious moment of like, oh my God, we're running away from an exploding train. And they were all just laughing to themselves because they thought, my God, what the hell have we just done?
It's a good challenge though. The first one was maybe a bit too hard because it took up half the time. And then they had to rush through everything else. So, but Joe got his hand around the chains and ripped them all open, didn't he?
He didn't care about damaging his hands, did he?
No.
But then nor did Nick when he found the final key in the soot.
In the cat litter. No,
the cat litter tray, yes, that's it. So there
you go.
Well, what a great series. Mm-hmm. Out of 10, what would you give this series of Celebrity Traitors?
9.
What made the missing mark?
Nothing's a 10.
Not Charlotte Church going out too early?
Yeah, that's true. Not enough Tom Daly.
Not enough water?
No swimming challenges. They need more swimming challenges.
What did you think of this series of The Traitors? Do get in touch with us. As I say, you can comment underneath our video if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, or you can get in touch with us directly on our social media. All the links are on our link tree, linktr.ee/faithful2. And on there, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on all your favourite podcast apps, give us 5 stars, tell your friends, and tell your mum. And as I say, if you do subscribe, we've got lots coming. We've got Race Across the World. We've got Traitors Canada. We've got the rest of Big Brother. We've got Celebrity Traitors. No, we haven't. We've got Celebrity The Apprentice. And we've got the brand new series of Traitors UK coming up in the new year. So there's lots to come. So if you like listening to the podcast or watching us, then that's good stuff.
And any other show. Although people keep saying, can you do Married at First Sight? No, we don't do Love Romance. We don't do Love Island. We don't do Married at First Sight. I'm not interested in the love marriage thing.
Although if Claudia brought back Three's a Crowd, I might do that. And if you like the podcast and you I love Street Mate. No, Street Mate. Street Mate. No, Street Date. What was it? What's her face from Gogglebox? We brought it back, didn't she?
Street Date.
That was Davina McCall, wasn't it? If you like the podcast and you want to help us monetarily,
could do series 2.
She could do series 2. That's a good punt. Well done. You go to our Buy Me a Coffee. They've done that.
I don't know.
Buymeacoffee.com/faithful, coff.ee/faithful. And on there, you can give us a £5 donation, which helps toward the show. But more importantly, it helps keep our producer, Charlie, well fed.
Right then. So until next time, stay faithful.